Hi everybody, welcome in. I am Carol, the owner and creator of everything behind CarolJo's, where we have community and creativity coming together for the jewelry and accessory world. I am going to bring up my backup account here, so just give me a minute to get that one. My volume keeps going up. I don't want my volume up. Whoop, wrong thing. Wrong. There we go. I was going to a wrong app. All right. So now I will be able to see comments on TikTok. I will not be able to see comments on YouTube when we go down because I don't have a backup of YouTube. Here, let me get you guys up a little bit. There we go. So what we do here is twice a week, we have what I call chat times, and that is where you get to ask all kinds of questions. We share tips and tricks with each other. It's where our community comes together and gets to know each other and share knowledge about jewelry making or accessories and that type of thing. Also, we do twice a week, we do tutorials. And today is a tutorial day, and I titled it a surprise. So I'll show you what it is when we get into it. And then throughout the week, we have live events. And those live events are where you can claim items that we have had in the tutorials so that you can try to do it yourself, or you can take those items along with the other items I bring and create your own jewelry and accessory. So we will have a live event tonight at 7 p.m. Central. And we are going to have, right now, I have 32 items ready to go. I'm going to get 2 more. So we'll have a total of 34, I believe. And those are Gorgonia. So we're going to have, I forgot to grab the beads. Oh, darn. Where are they? I might have to grab the beads for the tutorial. I might have left them in the living room when I was sitting down there with Ryan last night. But anyway, sorry. But it's, we have, I got to go through it. We have a Valentine looking like pendant. We will have a St. Patrick's Day pendant. We have 2 different chains. One of them I don't have a lot of. And both of them are returns to the studio. We have a little bit of these earring wires that you guys can use. We also will have, I got to think about what else do we have over there. We have a couple of acrylics. One of them are a really cool acrylic, everybody, I think. We have the vintage resin from the Hagar estate. And we also have different size. We have 2mm size glass, and then we have a lot of this size. And let me go grab it. I'm going to go grab them because they're going to be part of what we're going to go over today. But I want to show it to you without what I did to it. We have the 15 by 10mm glass faceted teardrop bead. So they're a larger bead. So I was like, okay, I have been wanting, you guys all hear me talk about, I stink at wire wrapping. I really don't like how it turns out for me. I can't envision it. Wire wrapping is extremely, extremely hard for me when I look at it. I can wire wrap rings, which, what I mean by that, they're right here. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I can do the earrings, you know, like to make a charm dangle. I can do that, but I can also do these rings. That's the extent of my wire wrapping. I've sat there and I'm like, I have said over and over when we're live that I'm not good at it. I just I don't see the end result. I can't figure out how to go from A to Z. But I've seen these before, and I've had a hard time just even thinking to try it. So why I said this whole entire week it was going to be a surprise is because I did take the time just to sit down and try it. So I'm going to show you guys what I tried. Hi, Gabriella. So here is the first one. And I just wanted to do the simple this. Let me show you there close. You were getting there, Patty. Hi, sweetheart strings. And I was like, okay, I'm getting it. And I did this one with a 28 gauge wire. So it's a very thin wire. So I bet you got it because I kept saying I have to keep practicing. And then I was like, okay, I need to do a different wire. I need to do a thicker wire. Hi, Murda. So here is my second attempt. Don't laugh at it. It is horrible. Hi, Riley. So that was my second one with the gold. And that one, I believe, is a 20 or a 22 gauge. I think it's a 22 gauge wire. Then I got out the silver wire. And here is number 3. I'm like, okay, I'm getting there. I watched a lot of different videos to come up with different techniques. One of the techniques said you should bring the wire back up to the top. So this one was number 4. And let me tell you, I dislike it. So we're going to talk about different ways. And so they all have a little loop here at the top so that you, hi Gladys, so that you will be able to add them to, like, you can make these into earrings. You could do them as a pendant on a necklace, that type of thing. And so by just adding a jump ring, you can add this to it. But what I want to talk about here in the beginning, before I show you how I did these, is some of the steps that I went through and share my experience. So today's tutorial isn't going to just be all about learning how to do it. It's going to be sharing some tips that I learned while I was doing it. I watched a whole lot of different tutorials. This is not something that's new, but wire wrapping is new to me because I have always tried to do it and I've never been happy with it. And so you will hear me on here going, I don't wire wrap. There's lots of other people to learn from. So thanks, Denise, for the follow. So what I wanted to do is take a step back and go, hey, I'm learning something myself. And I want to share that experience of learning something with you guys and make it more of a tutorial. So, because I say, when we do our chat times, it's about sharing tips and tricks. It's about sharing questions and everybody being able to answer them. And I want to kind of merge that in here today with our tutorial because it really truly has been an experience for me. And it really has. I don't say I'm proficient at this yet. I won't say I'm great. But what I can do is I can share with you what worked for me and what didn't work for me, what I watched and what I heard. And if anybody else out there is someone that does wire wrapping way more than me, share an experience that maybe I need to change a little bit of a technique to, so that we're all learning together. So what I learned in this is don't use, still have it out here, the 22 gauge wire. This one is the 22, right? Nope, this is the 28. Don't use the 28. This is the 28 to do this style of a technique. Hi, Lulu. The reason being is that here's this one. If you were to hang it, this is too delicate. It's not going to keep that circle. I can move it very easily. I don't know yet. I can get the wire. I don't know if you guys want. Thank you, Ducky, for the heart me. I don't have any on hand right now. Hi, Ariel. But you guys let me know if you want me to. This is Beadsmith. I wouldn't do theirs because I don't have the ability. I don't have a partnership with them to do that, to be added to there. The price that there. Oh, that is so sweet, Lulu. So you guys let me know what you want. I can help source out supplies for you guys. I know I can get it. This is going to look bad because he keeps unraveling on me because I don't put him in there. But I can get them on rolls like this. They come like this, but he went off the rails there. I keep forgetting to put him in, and then I set him down and it goes. So that's one thing not to do with those. I have, I can say what it is, but I have to kind of be cryptic about it, Ariel, because I'm live on both YouTube and TikTok at the same time. But we call it the studio here. And the studio is CarolJo's, and then DOT, you know what that is, and then COM. And I can't, when I'm live here, I can't put a comment in there, or so I put it in the comments over for here. Thank you. Thanks for understanding. Not when I did this. When I've done the rings that I was showing at the beginning, that I do, if you're not careful, if you poke yourself with the wire, it will make you bleed. So yes, I have done that before. And with that 22 gauge that I do with the earrings, or I mean, sorry, the rings, my hands will get sore if I do it a lot. It's part of designing, I say. Yes, poking yourself with the wire is one of the most painful things that you will go through. It does hurt. I will tell you that. Next to it is when I get myself with the Sharpie. You'll see me be like, yee! And I'll say a word I shouldn't really say on TikTok, but it hurts. Both of those two things do hurt. So, yeah. And I've done like the line. Oh, I've ripped my skin. Yep, there you go. Ashley put it in there in the comments for you over here on the tube. Oh, I can show you really cool. Yep. I've done the loop turner. This is a different one than I showed earlier, but this is the rings there, Gladys. So that's the wire wrap rings that I create. And that's one thing that I haven't figured out is how to do a shape at the bottom. I haven't found a video on that. So Nordic Luna says she does a shape at the bottom and then goes up through the middle because she doesn't like here, you'll see there's wire on one side. I've done the ring one before, Patty, and there is a video on the tube for it. I haven't done it recently, and the reason being is that I can't do both because I do that one facing down because of the small space that we're working in. But I can bring it back for TikTok only type thing. I can do that. But I just can't do both at the same time. Which is okay. It really is. And it's just because I can't have two cameras on top of each other and I don't know how to stream 2 to 1. I haven't figured that out yet. So, but what I figured out, another thing I figured out, and maybe with what Nordic Luna is saying, this might help out, is that, number one, the gauge, we want 22 gauge when I was doing this. Number 2, I do not like, personally, this advice that I read or watched on a video. I'm going to show you here. So here's at the bottom, and you can see one of them coming up. I didn't get it really close together, but when I went around here, it's just not tight. I did not like coming up and wrapping around the top. That style of ending. So what I'm talking about is you see this wire right here. It goes around and then it ends right there. That went from the bottom all the way up because you see it where it starts there. I didn't like that. That's a personally thing I don't like. So that is, um, I was going to say, I will try to show you guys how to do it on a live. That's not going to be a problem. Okay, so Ashley says it's not her favorite either. And then, so what I found out is that I don't like that. And then there's also the one where if you come up, you have two, when doing it the way I do it, you'll see that there are two different pieces of wire on the top. And they say the one that you make the loop with, after you make the loop, to push it down. I don't like that because you got to cover it up. But I didn't like that one either. It just didn't stay right for me. And maybe it's just me. So that's why I'm open to you guys telling me stuff. Okay, bye, Ariel. I hope you have a great day. So I'm going to point you all down, and I'm going to show you what I did, and you guys can help me. And if I boo-boo while I'm doing it, you guys just know I got to start over because I'm still learning this. But I got my ruler to measure out my wire. I have the wire, and I have the bead, my teardrop. You can use any style of bead that you want. I've seen this done on gemstones that are larger to create them into a pendant. I've seen it in different glass beads that are different shapes than the teardrop. You can do it on whatever shape you want. And I've seen them done before. I just have never done them. I have my chain nose pliers, flush cutters, and my round nose pliers. Those are the tools that I use to do this. Now I'm going to point y'all down. Sorry there on YouTube for taking you guys for a ride. All right, let's get you over here. So what I did is I took my wire. It's 22 gauge. I'm just using a craft wire while I'm learning. What they say is use a craft wire while you're learning because then it is a little bit less expensive. You can use craft wire for these if you want to choose to do so. They also have I can't get the word out. Sterling silver wire that comes in like half hard or hard. You can use those too. No, I don't know how to do that one. You spiral towards the center instead of outward. I have not done that one, Nordic Luna. This is like this is it. And I just did 15 inches just to give myself some wire. Okay, cut that off. As you notice, it kind of rounds itself. I just sat here and with my fingers tried to make it a little bit more straighter. I didn't go completely straight with it, but trying to get it so it's not so coiled. If it's coiled or if it's like bent on the ends and you want it straight, you can use the nylon cord or nylon pliers. Let me see if I can find mine really quick. I'll show it to you. I know I had the minis out the other day. I want to try to find my regular one. I forgot what color the handles are. There they are. They're black. These are my nylon pliers. They need much love. They need new nylon in here. But you just take this and just hold it and go up. And it straightens it out. All right. See how it's now straight instead of kinky on the end? I'm not going to do the whole thing straight because we're going to circle it. So I don't want to. We are learning. Hi, Shannon. We are learning how to wire wrap. It's one thing that I'm not good at, so we're just going to do it together. Hey, Geraldine. I am taking the teardrop bead. I'm putting the small end first. And then from the end or the beginning of the teardrop bead to the end of my wire here, I want to be about 3 inches. So from here to here is 3 inches, and I bent it while it was on my ruler so I knew where it was at. And I brought this up. I brought him straight up. Now I'm going to use that technique that we used when we were making up our like dangles, and we make that loop at the top. So I am, but we don't have it like exactly like what we have. So we're going to take our pliers, push this 90 degrees away from me, reposition that tool, and then we're going to create that loop. We don't have to reposition our tools with this one because guess what? We're not hitting the bead. And you see how I've got my loop in there? Let me get that. There we go. Got the loop. And then what I was doing was taking, and I hold my wire and my loop, and I wrap this around here 1 or 2 times, just so that our loop stays in position. I did it 1 time. I'm going to cut this end off. Okay. Now I'm going to take my pliers and hold my loop with the plier. And I just take my finger and move it this way. And I'm going to hold you there. This is where it was a little bit difficult. And wrap. Okay, I'm just going to hold it with my fingers right now. And I am wrapping the wire around the bottom of where my loop is at, but not quite to my bead. There's a little bit of space there, and I'm wrapping that. And now I'm going to start wrapping around. So I'm just wrapping around, and I'm keeping everything. I'm holding it, and I am stacking it one right below it. So I'm going to come around, and I'm going to go right below the one I did before. And I just keep wrapping until I get to a place where I'm like, yep, that's how much silver I want on the top. I want to see. I do have to put my glasses on, everybody. Hi, Candy. I want to do one more. I call this one my backside because we have this piece of wire there. Nordic Luna was talking about being able to create something at the bottom so that you just bring the wire up. Then I cut off the wire. I literally just cut the wire off is what I was doing. I didn't like coming up. Oops, I need these pliers. And then I smush it. Now, if you notice, if I leave this the way it is, you're going to see that this matches up. So I want to turn this so that this is in the back. So I need to turn that. And you can do that by just moving that around. I'm going to smush it so it stays together. And that's how I create it all. There's the back side. Here's the front side. And then you just add on a jump ring, and then you can make it into earrings or that type of thing. Now, I have a question to Nordic Luna. When you talked about on the bottom, you would create something so that it would hold it. Are you talking about, would you create like a small circle? Something like, I've tried these and I fail at them. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it. Even something small like that. Can you even see that, you guys? I'm like, I wonder how to do that. I know when I said cut off 15 inches, I knew I was going to have a lot left over, but I want a lot because I'm learning. Ooh, oh my Lord. Okay. I like that little bumpy at the bottom there. Oh my Lord. Okay, I'm going to try something here, guys. I'm taking with what she said. Okay, so I'm going to do just like I would now normally. I'm creating my loop here. And now instead of doing just that, I'm going to hold this, go around. Now I'm going to hit this. I think I like this way better. I'll show you in just a second and explain what I'm doing. I'm just playing right now. Ah! Just even with this, the minimalist about it. Ah! Oh my gosh, you guys. Thank you, Nordic Luna, for the idea. This is not my idea. Okay. I'm going to bring this up. Thanks, Rosie. Because you guys, I do not wire wrap, but I'm excited about this. Now, okay, I'm going to take this piece of wire so that I can hold it and you guys can see it. Look at it. It's got a little the little loop down there and one up here and there. Let me stop it from wiggling. Oh my gosh, I did it. I did something. I'm going to show you over here on the tube. Ah! Thanks, Nordic Luna. You guys have to understand, it is easier than I thought. I have stunk at what I thought for wire wrapping. And I'm like, I'm going to get over this. I am going to do this. You know what? I teach you guys all this stuff. But the thing is that I really have thought about this long and hard. And it was about, I got to get over my fear. I tell you guys to, and I don't even do it myself with wire wrapping. And so I literally said, I have to get over this fear. I have to do this. Last night, when I was going to bed and said my prayers, I asked just to give me strength to get through this. I know I don't usually talk about my religion here, and I know we don't talk about it, but this has been something that hasn't been easy for me to think about or to do and to try it. And the thing is snark and sparkle, you know what? I have tried and tried. I am not good at it at all. And I was like, I'm going to start with something really small, simple, easy. And like this. And the thing is that like if we did this with all the colors that we have, that we'll have up for tonight, I don't have any extra. Like literally the way I did this, it did not leave me with any extra to be able to be like, here's all the colors that we have. But I'm just thinking, if you would put these on necklaces, they will be like the Bohemian. They don't have to be perfect, because Bohemian isn't perfect. And I'm like, this will be so cool. Like this style right here will be so cool. And you can do them all differently too. But now I'm like, woohoo, I want to try another one. I'm going to try another one. I'm going to put you guys back down. And I'm going to try to see if we can make another one like this to make earrings. So what I'm saying about the whole necklace thing is that if you can't make it, because everything has to be symmetrical when I do earrings. So if I couldn't get them symmetrical to do earrings, make it into a necklace pendant. Don't take and get so caught up in the details that you don't do that. So yeah, so I'm going to try it again here. Thank you, Snark and Sparkle, for the follow. I'm just grateful that we can share here and share what we go through on a daily basis. Yes, I know. I was thinking about that. Like for earrings, you could put another one down here of something else to give it a little bit of like, oh, even on a necklace, you could put a charm there. Ah, yay. Okay, we're going to do this again and see if we can create one that's similar to it. I've got to get over the whole exact same, but similar is what I need. Okay, I need my 22 gauge wire. That is so true, Danelle. All right, I'm doing the 15-inch again, just so I have enough. I probably don't need 15, but I am doing that. Okay, this is the one I want to match. So we're going to take the bottom. I was right at the end, and I just did it around twice. There we go. Then I put a bead on. And I'm putting the big spot towards the bottom. It is, and I can tell you, I'm almost tempted to cut part of this off just to keep it sanely amount. Let me see how much I cut off. I'm going to go up here, just so I can give you guys kind of an idea. I cut off, I did about half. There's about 7.5 inches there, so we have 7.5 here. Now we're going to take right there. We're going to go 90 degrees away. Right in there. I don't have it marked, so they're not going to be exact. We're going to do this so we can get our loop, and then we are going to wrap around just like you would if you were creating a dangle. And now we're going to hit the bead, and I'm going to wrap around the bead. Not on top of each other. They're going to go right below each other. Kind of like a barber pole effect. Thank you for the gift. Then we're just going to go around and around. I got to see where I need to stop. And what I'm doing is I'm just holding them up to see if they're, I'm not counting the number of lines. I'm just counting the amount of silver on there is about the same length of silver. Yep. We're going to cut that off. And I'm going to mush that. Yep, these are facing the same way. All right. Are they perfectly identical? Nope, but that's okay. I'm going to grab a pair of earrings. And we're going to open this up. Add that on. There's that one. Wrong pliers. Add that one on. Ta-da! Okay, I'm going to bring it up. Yep, you can do that. Whoops, hold on. Sure, I'll show it to you up close here. I can tell you, this is the first one. This one was the second one. You can see they're a little bit different, but I'm going to say I'm okay. I'm going to go show the tube, okay, everybody? Thanks, Patty. And what Nordic Luna is saying is get a small jump ring right there, add it there, and then you can add another bead on it. What I want to do, instead of that size, hold on. Let's see. I got a container of beads that we've had recently, and I was thinking I have some smaller teardrops in here, and I was going to see if we could add those to the end. But I don't have smaller. Okay, you have to understand, I have given up on doing this because I have stunk at it for so long that I was like, okay, I can't do this. And I was like, lately I've been like, I am not giving up. I got to try this again. I'm going to take a smaller bead here and I'm going to try to do the same thing here. These are the 11 by 8 millimeter teardrops that we had. We've done something with them on that. Okay, I'm going to go back down here, everyone. See, this is what I love about this, is that we can like create. I need my other piece right here. Okay, I'm going to do that same technique. All I did is I took the very tip of my round nose pliers here and grabbed the wire and just turned this a couple of times to create the circle. Does that make sense? Let me see if I can get that to focus. That's all I did to create that. These are smaller, so this might not be as much wire wrap at the top. So I have in there, go 90 degrees away. I'm going to go back just a little bit to create a little bit bigger loop than that because I might not be able to get a jump ring through. We are going to create a circle. See how I created a circle by going around my wire or my round nose pliers? I'm going to grab these. We are going to just wrap that around. And right now I'm wrapping around where I have that space between the bead and the loop. You'll get to a part where it's going to hit where your loop is at. And normally when we're creating those, we then cut it off at that point. I am now going to wrap it around and do the top of the bead a little bit. And all I'm doing is using my fingers to wrap that around. And I'm just going to do it a little bit on this one. And I'm going to cut that off. And then I just don't want to poke. I don't have a poke there. Okay. Then I'm going to grab a small jump ring. Let me grab my jump rings. This is the smallest I have in this container. We're going to open that up. I need another plier, because to open jump rings, you use 2 pliers. Find where that opening is at. Have one of the chain nose pliers on each side. One towards you, one away. Put the loop from the top of this one on the bottom of this one. There we go. And then close it up the opposite way that we just did. And then you've created something that's a little bit longer. Just adds a little bit to it. I'm going to make a second one and add it to this one. All right. Grabbing that at the very tip. Wrap that around. And then I did smush it. I don't think I explained that. And so that my piece that I started with isn't poking. I just smushed it down so it didn't poke when I'm down at that end. Now go ahead and right at the tip, put 90 degrees, go in a little bit. If I marked it so mine can be the same, but I didn't do that here. Do our little loop. Got my loop. I'm going to hold it. Use this pliers for this. And then wrap that around. Then we're getting to the bead, and then wrap that around the bead, just stacking it right on top of each other. Hold on. I moved it so there we go. He wasn't going to be straight. I moved it a little bit to where he was going to be a little cockeyed. Is that about one more time around? There. And we'll cut this one off. Mash that together so that we don't poke. Grab another jump ring. Take that off of the display. Open it on one side. Here and here for the jump ring. Open. Add this. Whoops. He hopped off. There we go. On the bottom. Okay, I have Nordic Luna says keep repeating for a necklace. So what I was thinking is if you did a necklace, you could even do it where it's just one, and then like you can add them to it and make it longer. Make some like, this is what's going in my head. You guys can tell me if I'm losing it or not. You could start with a smaller one bead and then go with the 2 beads and then go with like 3 beads or 4 beads. And then you could have chains going in between them all. You could do lots of different things. That's what we just talked about. Now I can do it. Holy buckets. I love that. So, yay, I'm glad you tried it too. Yay. This is what this is all about, you guys. Literally, I love this community because we can do things that we don't normally do. We can grow together. You're welcome. I'm just excited that I can finally do something. Is it like the greatest on earth wire wrapping? Heck no, but you know what? I'm doing it. And that's what I'm excited about. Because you have to understand, this has been something that I have not done. I have always said I couldn't do it. I always put the blockers in place. And I even in the live, we created earrings. Yay! I would have never thought that. So I'm excited. I don't know how I can top this now. For me, anyways. I know. And you guys probably, some of you have probably been doing this for a long time. Like Nordic Luna, she was helping me. And that's what I love about this community. I cannot say enough about it because we are all here to grow with each other. You know, the one thing that I've always heard when we've talked about everything is that we just need to give credit to who we saw that we got the idea from. I have seen this technique done in so many different avenues, and I always said I couldn't do it. Oh, yeah. Now I can do earrings with the focals. Now I'm like, oh boy. Ashley said over here, she says, it feels good when you accomplish something you didn't think you could. And that is so true. You guys are seeing it like in my expression right now. But the thing is that we just need to give credit where credit is due. I can tell you this technique hasn't been a technique that is like, oh, I almost knocked my earrings over and I'm so excited about them. That isn't like I can give credit to one person. But I can say thank you to Nordic Luna for helping me figure out a different way to do it so we didn't have the lines. Because that was one thing I'm like, I don't know how to do it without the lines. But by just making one small change, And I've always seen it where they did the circle, like flat, that's on the bottom of the bead. And I'm like, that will never work for me because I can never get it in a true circle. But doing what I did here, I could do it. So that's the other thing that I want you guys to take away with this is that if you know you have a limitation, figure out if you can adjust it in a simple way that will allow you to be able to create with it. I mean, hearing Nordic Luna say, do this at the bottom, and I was just like, okay, is this it? But once I started going, I'm like, hold it. I love this way. It isn't the way that I've tried in the past and failed. So it just took having an open mind to be able to try something and adapt it to work for you. And like I said at the beginning, I watched a lot of YouTube videos even to get this far. You guys, if you would see my YouTube history on watching it, they all have different techniques. And the thing is that I adapted it to begin with and just said, I want to try it this way. And then one person says, how about this? And that's what helps us grow. You know, we just don't get stuck. And that's why I love these lives is that we can sit here and learn and grow and do different things. Nordic Luna says, sometimes simpler works better for some of us, LOL. And let me tell you, I'm going to stay simple for a long time. I'm going to keep trying to hone this now that I've got confidence in myself to do it, that I want to keep trying different things. And maybe someday I will get to those I can't think it. I can't say it. Just the detailed work where they've got the stuff. I mean, I've watched Alma create her rings, and there is Southern, now I can't say her whole name, Southern something creations, and she does wire wrap. Yes, that's the word I'm trying to say, but it's not coming out. Thank you. um Geraldine and both Southern Unique, that's who it is. I watch them. I watch Southern Unique when she's live a lot. I can't see what they're doing. Like when she brings up a cabochon to wire watch. Yep, well, the thing is that both of you guys said the same word. So now everybody can see it. I just don't see that like what she designs on there. I can't personally see it. And that's something that has made it so hard for me. And when I watch them, I get intimidated and I say, I can't do it. And one of the things when I created the schedule for this week, I gave myself I said, you can do something simple, just practice. And I have been practicing. And the thing is that I didn't do those all in one day, because if I would have sat there and sat there and sat there, I would have gotten frustrated myself. So I literally spent 10 to 15 minutes a day going, you can do this. And I was like, you can do this. You can do this. And all week, you guys heard me say, I'm going to try it. I don't know what we might not be doing what I thought. At the end of the day, we did what I thought, but we also went above what I thought too. And I think that's why you guys are hearing my excitement in today, is that it can be simple. It doesn't have to be over the top, that it overwhelms you, that you're not going to end up doing it. And I know I have those, yep, I have been doing the self pep talks all week. You guys have heard me say it on the lives. And it was funny because Patty was like, oh, I know what you're going to do on Friday. And I was like, not exactly with that. But I'm like, I know Patty's getting close to what I wanted to do. She knew it was probably wire wrapping just the way I was talking. But someone was filtered over here. Oh boy. And so, oh, the Dizzy Daisy? I have not. I'll have to look for the Dizzy Daisy. But see, I love watching them. And But what I got to do is not, I have to stop and not think it to the point it's overwhelming to try. We all can give ourselves that negative talk. And I know I talk about it here that you got to get out of it. So I did that in the midst of trying to do a major change to things here. I was like, I can do this. So you have to understand, in this week, what has all happened. I'm going to share it with you guys. We're going to go probably more chat for here for the next few minutes so that you guys can understand how life can be overwhelming in running a small business. But I was like, I am going to do this. So oh, Ashley said she's been checking out books too, and they've been helpful. So in the way my back end system that starts with an S that we all know we're not supposed to say on TikTok. So if you guys can put it into there where your studios hosted, a business that hosts them that begins with an S. There, that's how I'll say that. The import and export to add items and to update items onto the studio has so many fields. One of the fields that I have not been able to utilize in the imports is images and getting the images. You know how I've been adding those to the items. I haven't been able to get the images in the import. And I also want to be able to, in a field behind the scenes, where did I source that item and what is the item number, so that if we want to have a return to the studio, I have an easy place to get it. I have not been able to find out in their import to be able to do that. So you guys have seen, Val comes and helps me out sometimes when I just get stuck, because I was so stuck on using I can't say it, the S word, their import spreadsheet. And Val went out and found another company that is like an add-on to the back end. And in that, I can put in my images. I can put in where I sourced it from and the source ID, so that I don't have to keep anything manual. I don't have to manually go up and update fields. Literally, it's all just in one upload. So for tonight's live, I know it doesn't seem like it's no different for you guys, what you will see. But for me, by doing this different company's import sheet, I am saving time and being able to do that. So I've had to learn that this week. I learned this week, and I'm like, okay, that's a lot in 1 week. But I did talk to Val before live, and I said, I'm excited that I did this. I'm excited I got out of my comfort zone. I had to have somebody else help me, and that's okay. We all are here to help each other. And that's what I wanted to share, is that it takes a village for us to do anything. And I'm so grateful for our community. Geraldine's asking what's going to be up for claims tonight. Well, now that I've shown you the bead, this size bead, this 15 by 10 millimeter teardrop, this one, I have 7 different colors. We have deep sky blue. We have a teal that really looks more green than teal to me. A green, blue, the saddle brown, and black, and a purple. So we're going to have those. We'll have them in strands and bags. So Ashley put, yes, it is, but you should be proud of how much you have accomplished. I am. It's been a week of learning, but I am extremely, extremely happy for where I've gotten to. Learning something new technique that is like, I've been doing jewelry for 20 years. I have put off doing anything like this even because I had such negative head talk. I self-pep talked myself the entire week, and I accomplished it. So, and then what else we have? We're going to have 2 gorgonias at least tonight. I still have to get those ready. We have a 16 millimeter pink acrylic bead that you can do for jewelry or for the pens. We have a cube-like acrylic bead in multiple colors. That one is really, really cool bead. When you guys see this acrylic bead, it doesn't look acrylic. It almost looks glass. We have a magnetic hematite bead. We have vintage resin from the Hagar estate. We have a check glass rondelle from the Hagar estate, but all those, there's one check glass and two of the vintage resin, and I left them all as strands, and I only have one or two strands of each, so it's a very limited amount. We have a pendant that is a Valentine inspired pendant, and we have a St. Patrick's Day inspired pendant. We have the textured chain in gunmetal. That's the 8 by 6 millimeter. That is a return to the studio. And then we also have a gold aluminum. That's a return to the studio, but I only have 4. I can only get 4 packages of that one. And then we have 3 different colors of the 2 millimeter size beads. We have I found one 6 millimeter size of the frosted crackle beads. We have that. I think that's everything. So Rosie said, it's handcrafted jewelry. It doesn't have to be perfect nor identical. We forget that sometimes. I do that all the time, Rosie, because my brain is like stuck on symmetrical, that if it's not the same, I get extremely like I can't do it. And when we're doing the photos for the studio, I was talking with the photographer that I'm using, and I'm like, I have been one of the hardest things to ever take a picture of, I will let you guys know, jewelry and beads. Jewelry is actually a little bit easier sometimes than the beads. And it's because the beads are smaller. You want to see that bead, not the whole thing of the jewelry. So there literally are the 2 hardest things to photograph pretty much. And so we've talked about it, and she is a perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist at how we see everything. It has to be perfect. And I told her we can't be perfect. If we really truly go out and look at other individual studios, nothing is perfect. And we got to give ourselves grace, and we got to get over the perfect, or we're never going to have anything out there. So this year is the year of doing it the best we can, and it doesn't have to be perfect. That is something that I am personally working on, because handcrafted jewelry, my earrings had to be identical. If they weren't identical, I would not put them up. But like here, when you're looking at this, you don't see if it's like a 0.5 millimeter off. And before, I was sitting there measuring it to make sure it is identical. That's how I have been. And so I just needed to say, you need to take a step back and not have it be exactly like that. And that is okay. So that is something that for me, for 2026, that I have been working on. It started at the end of 2025, but I have to have it go through, because else our studio would never open. So, and Nordic Luna says, yes to all of that. And it's true. I mean, I just had to sit there and go, you have to get over that. And so you guys are seeing me being the most vulnerable and telling you what I have to do to change me for this to work. And I know it sounds silly, but it has been very, very difficult, because I have been, when I do jewelry, I would measure everything. So Sandy's asking, have you been able to source any products made in the US and realize the difficulty? This is what I will say. Yep, you sure can now. So you can purchase from products from in the US, but for me to source it and bring it to you, the value of it is not there. Now, what I will say and do is that I will tell you where I've looked at. And if you want to purchase within the US, that is totally your prerogative and you can do that. And then send you there. And when I say source in the US, that means sourced and made in the US. I will be brutally honest with you guys. I tell you, I get my products from overseas. So that is sorry, we're working on one thing for the studio and Val just sent me a question and I'm like, "What? Oh, I get it." But that can wait and be answered after the live. And so literally um there are people that source outside the US that there are people that you can do it in the US and they are US made. But the value is very difficult. Hi, did you just hear me say you were asking me a question? I'm going to take care of it after the live. So, yeah. And the thing is that I am not trying to displace an American worker at all. I don't feel that way. Um, but what it comes down to is that we are given only so much money to be able to have our budgets and what fits in your budget. And so that is what I will say about it is that I can't source it and get it to you in a good conscious effort to say, here, this is what it would be. But if you want to I can tell you where I sourced it and saw it, and I can pass that on to you, and then you can determine where you want to purchase it from. That's what I will say. I have sourced in the US, trying to see what we can do and come up with. So that is totally where I come from. And I want to make sure I got everybody's. Nordic Luna, I just read your comment. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So my life must be beginning because I'm jumping out of the comfort zone this year. I really, truly am. I know I've done it with this business because it wasn't running what I'm doing right now was never what I thought I would be doing in my life. I was like, I make jewelry, things happen, and things turned. And someone asked the question about, would you sell that type of stuff? And I'm like, okay, I can do that. So my business has changed from what it originally started as to what it is today. And you know what? I'm glad I did it. And just like Nordic Luna, your comfort zone. I went outside and thought, okay, can I do this? But I'm having more fun now than I did with what I've done in my past. And that includes my corporate jobs and everything. This to me is the best thing ever for me. And I want it to succeed because I want to do this until I retire because I love it. I'm having fun with it. That's what I'll say. But I will be on, I'm going to wrap up here. I will be on at 7 p.m. tonight, and that's Central Time. And we will be doing 34-ish items, I think it is. I think it's 34 tonight. And then we will then, tomorrow, I don't have one here. So I will get them and to show you at the beginning of tonight's live and probably at the end of the live what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Pearl Cage event where we have different cages that you can add pearls to if you would like and a chain and make a necklace. And we can do it while we're live. So that's what tomorrow's event. We haven't talked a whole lot about it, but you guys asked for it. So we're going to bring that one to tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central. So that's what we got going on there. So I'm going to hop off, go answer some questions with Val, and then get the last couple of items ready. And then after that, I will do your list for yesterday's silicone items. I haven't done those yet because I was learning this new spreadsheet and getting that all figured out. So I hope you guys are okay that it'll be a day late. But I hope you have a good night, and we will talk to you or a good afternoon, and we'll talk to you at 7 p.m. Central. Bye, everybody.